Good afternoon, everyone. As Highland Park's water director, I want to acknowledge the recent disruptions to our community. These are our first boil water notices in a decade, and I understand the impact to our families and businesses. Our goal is always to minimize disruptions, but we're experiencing some temporary challenges. We're currently modernizing our 115-year-old infrastructure through two essential projects. These two projects are here on the map. One project is we're installing master meters at 3 locations. One here to the south on Hamilton at Webb, one here to the north at Hamilton and McNichols, and one on John R. and McNichols. So that's one essential project that we've had to close some valves that's causing some temporary challenges. The other project that's going on right now is we're doing about 6 miles of water main in the southeastern quadrant of the city. All the water main on John R. Street between Tennyson and the Davison is being replaced. All the water main on Brush between Tennyson and the Davison is being replaced. And all the water main on Tennyson between Woodward and Oakland is being replaced. So that's 12-inch water main, 12-inch water main, and 8-inch water main. Our commitment is to keep it simple and keep everyone informed. But these projects, the isolation of these valves on this 115-year-old system is what's causing the issue. And we've never had this much construction in Highland Park at once. And so when you start opening and closing valves and installing multiple miles of water main, this is kind of what we're up against. So right now, what we're doing to remedy the situation is the valve that's here that's closed so that this master meter can go on the ground. There's an emergency valve that's here at Woodward and Woodlawn, so we're working with GLWA as we speak to get this valve opened so that we can feed water into this area. So the problems that we're primarily having are the south between, it's the south of the Davison between Tennyson. So it's the southwest and east quadrants is where we're experiencing the lowest water pressures. Water pressures above the Davison are a little bit less than normal, but they are acceptable, maybe 7 to 10 psi. So this is where the problems are happening, and right now we believe that it's mainly because of this valve being closed, and that may have also caused some leaks or some breaks in this area. So a combination of those things is why we've had our second notice here in the last month or so.
I'm just letting everyone know that they are working continuously to get this problem fixed. They have come up with some ideas now of what is happening, and so the next phase is to try to make sure that it's fixed in a timely manner. I know it's very inconvenient. Again, I live in the same area. I am having the same issues. We have had to close down City Hall due to the fact it's in the same area. There's not enough pressure to have toilets flushing, and so we can't have citizens in there. I just was informed that we also have that issue at another one of our buildings, so we had to close it down. So we want everyone to understand that it's not just isolated to just the citizens. Some of our buildings are going down, and we hope to have that fixed at least within the next, maybe 3 to 4 hours if it's possible. And so that should help with some of the pressure, and then our engineers will continue to do what they need to do to try to relieve all of the pressure and build it back up to a standard that we can use and where people are not having this. I have reached out to numerous donors who's willing to help us get water. So distribution will be starting tomorrow morning. As we receive it in, I was informed that we should be receiving some donations this afternoon. One of our partners, one of the churches in the city received donations, and they've already distributed water to 2 of the senior buildings. So we're going to continue that, and our goal is to make sure that it has either enough pressure to flush toilets and make sure they have enough water, at least to drink for drinking purposes.
Mayor, we got a chance to speak to some of the residents. One of the concerns was that they weren't informed. Has the city done anything to inform residents about the situation?
We went out totally on our website. We went out through text messaging. We went out through emails. I've been on the news. We made sure that we called all 3 news stations. That was sent out the night before at about 10:20 p.m. It didn't air till the next morning. And so we've utilized every outlet that we can. I went to senior buildings yesterday, had my fire department go to other senior buildings, the police department, and knock on doors and make sure that they know that we are experiencing this, and it is a boil water alert. So we've used every outlet we can besides door to door.
In terms of, you just mentioned that you're anticipating the problem to be resolved for the most part in a couple of hours. Are you referring to just the 2 quadrants that are impacted right now, or are you talking about the overall solution?
I'll refer that to Dana.
So what we're talking about is opening a valve so that we can see if we can get the pressure to get up within the state required minimums. So right now the state required minimums are 20 psi. So we're hoping that once that valve gets opened, we're also placing a couple monitors in other areas so that soon, actually the monitors are going on now. So what happens is the monitors go on first, then we open the valve, and then we can determine if the pressure is increasing or decreasing. So that's what we are working on at the moment, and we hope to have done in the next several hours. So once that happens, then we have to have pressure maintained for a certain period of time, and then we have to do testing on the system to make sure that there is not any bacteria present within the system from the low water pressure. So we're going to open a valve. We're going to hopefully stabilize some pressures. We'll do some testing so that we can work on lifting the boil water.
So is there a time frame?
At this time, no, because so there's 2 things. So we want to try to get the valve open and stabilize the pressures, and then we have been since the weekend trying to pinpoint exactly what is causing this, other than something that I pointed out earlier. Our crews were just dispatched over to the west side of the city to see if there was a water main break. So it's kind of an iterative process. So it'll be probably the next several days that we'll be under this advisory.
So looking at the map right now, there are 4 quadrants. C and D are the worst impacted, and then D is slightly impacted. Is that accurate?
Yeah, C and D are where the lowest pressures are. A and B are more normal.
And earlier you mentioned that this was, you believe it's part of because you're replacing the valves. Is that correct?
So one of the projects that I was mentioning is the city is installing master meters in the ground. And so in order to isolate those sections where those master meters are being installed, there's valves that are being turned. And in isolating those portions of water main is where we believe that that's causing some other issues in the system.
So is this something like this could have been predicted in the sense like in terms of like in order to carry out the project, this is the byproduct of it?
No, we did not anticipate that we would be having these problems. We spent a year working with the state of Michigan and Eagle on trying to predict what would happen once this construction started.
Knowing that you guys have been surprised by several water main breaks recently, and with the ongoing water line replacement, meter replacement, is it reasonable for residents to believe or expect that there may be pressure issues throughout this work? I believe the city said that between 5 to 7 years it's going to take to install. Should neighbors reasonably expect that there may be some pressure issues throughout that time?
It's a very good question. So first I'll address, it will be, it'll be about 5 to 7. So the 5 to 7 years that you refer is we're under legal mandate to replace all the water main in the city. So we're about 30% done with that project. And so we're hoping that once this is done, the meters are installed and the valves are not isolating those particular areas of Maine, that we should go back to a somewhat normal situation. So yes, there'll probably be some more intermittent interruptions, but we would want to stay away from being in boil water advisories.
Well, what would you say to some residents who are asking for some sort of credit for their water bills as they experience this disruption or low pressure?
So we've always tried to meet the residents in their space outside of the boil water when people are having trouble just paying their bills. We've always encouraged people to come down to the customer service center and talk to us about their situation. I don't think that this would be handled any differently. We understand that this is an inconvenience for them, so we would consider talking to them about their situation and seeing how we could accommodate them.
Are you guys at the point yet where the city has even considered possibly having some type of water reserve or cases of water to deliver to homes that are most affected in those areas?
I just spoke on that. I've reached out to donors this morning, and so far we've had 2 pallets come in, totaling 60 cases. We're working toward waiting on other donors to send their water in, and we'll be starting distribution first thing tomorrow morning to those who are affected and the most affected, where they don't have water at all or trickling water, so that they can have water to drink. These are bottles, so they're not, big cases. So we want to make sure that the people in the areas that's affected the most get bottled water to drink. I'm continuing asking for donations. They can be delivered here to the Justice Center, and we'll distribute them from here.
Can we get your name and title?
My name is Damon Garrett. I am the water director for the city of Highland Park.
And would you mind spelling your first name?
First name is Damon, D-A-M-O-N. Last name is Garrett, G-A-R-R-E-T-T.
So as of right now, what's your message to the public in terms of what timeline are we expecting?
My message is it's going to be probably 24 to maybe 48 hours before we have a true handle on, because right now, so we're taking this in steps. The first step is let's get some valves open. Let's see if we can get this pressure situation underway. Then the next stage was, is there a break or is there a leak that needs immediate attention as far as repair? And then the third portion is the testing that's required to officially lift the notice. So, we're right now for, let's call it phase 1, we're hoping to have that under control in the next 24 hours. And then I would say, as far as looking for the repair, if one is needed, that's probably, we started that on the weekend and Saturday was still looking today. So I would say that that's probably another 48 hours. And then the testing portion, it requires 2 consecutive passing tests within a 24-hour period. So we're talking about 3 to 4 days before we can say it's all buttoned up. But it'll be phases.
Till then, the public, they're supposed to boil water for any kind of consumption.
Yeah, that is true.
And so let me just, have you done any testing yet at all with this disruption?
What I was told is you can't start the testing until we figure out where the issue is. And then after that, then we can start the testing.
Because what would happen is we could potentially be doing multiple tests. So once we isolate the problem, we say this is where the problem is, and then we do the testing in that area and make sure that we're good. The good news is that you're going to have a new system in 5 to 7 years, but I mean, it's going to be It's been a very painful process, and we have been representing the city for over 10 years, and last year we were excited that these projects were being funded because they met a major milestone as far as kind of moving away from some litigation that you probably heard much about. And so this, unfortunately, it's some growing pains that were happening. This is not a situation that I wanted to be in, but I'm hoping that by the end of this summer and these meters are in the ground, that that will be a huge milestone for the city. And then we've got about 30 miles of water main to get done in the next 5 to 7 years. So that's the good news. But
As this project continues, is there a chance that there could be another oil and water advisory?
There could be. There could be. I'm hoping that with this valve being open, because I strongly believe right now, when this valve, where this current meter was being installed, we were doing work and we had other water main projects and we did not have any kind of advisory. The problem is right now is that our two main feeds from the city are one's up there and one's down here, and it's on the same line, and one of them is closed so that a meter can be installed. So I think that is opening this valve here in the next 24 to 48 hours. I'm hoping that's going to give us the relief and we can kind of steer away from being in another boil water advisory.
What time is the distribution for the water tomorrow?
The time hasn't, it'll probably start about 9 a.m. I'm still waiting on the other donors to send over their pallets of water, but we will start with what we have tomorrow morning. I'm going to utilize some of our workers to help, distribute it. I'll also utilize our IT people to put out notice. I'm pretty good at putting out notices on my own Facebook page and utilizing and letting people know. One of the main concerns is the people that do not have water, that just have water trickling out of their faucets. That doesn't minimize the fact that other people have a boil water alert, but some people are not able to get water, enough pressure coming out of their faucets to get water and boil it.
Sorry, it's going to be at the fire department?
It's going to be right here at the
Right.
Justice Department, right here. We already have pallets ready to go. They're stored away. It'll be a drive-up system, or either we'll have some people try to take some water to those that can't get out. And I just got one more thing to say. I want the citizens of Highland Park to know that we're working diligently for them. This is not something that is anticipated. We never expected this. We knew that we were putting in new, master meters. We knew that we would be putting in new lead lines under the ground, but we never anticipated that we would have boil water alerts back to back. Like Damon said, that has not happened before. We've been putting in lead lines now for about, 5 years?
Since 7 years.
Yeah, 7 years, and we've never had this issue. But we have another project going on all at the same time, which is master meters, that is also a part of our agreement with GLEWA and Eagle. And those things have to be done, as well as the mandate to put in lead lines throughout the whole city. These are things that we have to do. So I'm praying that we figure out what the issue is and solve it real quick.
And when did the issue come to light? Saturday morning, afternoon?
I want to say Saturday afternoon, morning, maybe about 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. This is when I first started getting calls. And when we could not figure it out, we called for the boil water alert in the evening.